Hello, everyone. We are live. How is it going? Happy Friday, everyone. It is the Friday before a holiday, so I feel like even looser and crazier today, but it'll be a nice way to kind of cover a little bit about what's going on in the markets and drink some delicious beverages, which I also brought my own. How's your flavor turning out? I have the other one that you didn't want.
What is that, lemon lavender thing?
Got a good eye, lemon lavender.
This is
Yeah.
blood orange cardamom.
Nice. Cardamom. Is that your first one that you've had?
Ever or today?
Not today. I'm not saying are you rolling out of bread and cracking a can, but
It's a wake and sip. Is it a wake and bake,
Wake and bake, wake and sip, wake and slurp, something like that. Also, hey everyone, happy holidays.
Merry Christmas. Happy holidays.
So good reminder, of course, if you guys have any questions or comments, great to throw them in the chat. We'll be kind of chatting throughout. We are trying a new thing this time. I don't think anyone's going to be on it for this one. Trying to do that live stream to Instagram. Kind of interesting, switching it up a little bit. So if anyone's on Instagram,
shit, I should check too, right?
It is working.
I will say out. I just cursed.
That's
okay. Oh, I need that. I can see it. Look,
you've got the soundboard. Is it working? Not working?
What's the question?
The can hitting hard and fast.
Damn, there we are.
All right. So it's good. I will say though, if anyone's on Instagram out there, thanks for joining, one. But then two, if you have any comments or questions, we won't see them. So head on over to YouTube, head on over to X, any of the other platforms, because unfortunately they don't take questions from there. They've not gotten the technology yet. Look at this. Stevie knows French or has good access to Google Translate, which is great. I love that.
Is that French for sure?
It's what? That is French. Hey, Jane.
Is it? I don't know.
Everything goes well for you and your sons, I guess. Something, all the three? I don't know what that means. Something.
I think it's Canadian French.
It could be Canadian French. The accent can be hard to get around sometimes, but it's all good. All right. Well, I feel like, do you want to start with talking about what everybody probably wants to talk about, which is
HSDEA?
The rumors.
Based on where the prices are moving, everyone seems to want to talk about it. Looking at MSOS having a nice day after what feels like many rough days.
Would you attribute that though to the rumor news? I feel like it's not as much. What are we doing volume wise? Let's see. Because I feel like it doesn't seem like
volume is not bad. There was a period of time at 1.4 million shares by noon. We would be like, oh my God, that's awesome.
Yes.
Lately that feels light, but on the day before a long holiday trading weekend in the US, that volume actually feels pretty nice.
Okay.
And is it, is some amount of it people just making bets? Maybe. I don't know.
I hope not making bets. Although everyone, I guess, is free. I know you like to bet. I know you like to gamble.
Look, you see Rick and VA, you can ask questions on X now. That's awesome.
That is true. Hey,
that is awesome. If you're watching us on X, fire away. Now's your chance.
Are welcome to. Also, look, they're chatting in French to each other. Love it. It's great.
Damn.
But yeah, I don't know. I hope people, if they are doing that, they are taking a very clear look at the fact that it is a rumor. Who knows? Again, it's the timing aspect of things.
Well, the rumor is the timing part. That there's a response is a factual statement. When that response is coming and what that response says isn't so clear, right? So that's what's interesting, right? I mean, yeah, that's what's interesting. And it's still the same answer. It's going to come out when we don't expect it. And the funny thing is, it's true that it's not that everyone doesn't know. Somebody somewhere, probably within a 10 to 20 mile radius of where I am, at least right now, knows the answer. Probably a handful of people, kind of. And I say knows the answer. They might even not yet know the answer of what day, right? They've got it on their list, right? They're working on all these other things. This is one of many things for them. Someone said it's probably going out on Tuesday, but we've got to check with, Joe Bob over in accounting or something. And then on
Joe Bob,
Monday, they were supposed to check with Joe Bob, and he had COVID, and then Sam, right over in the compliance letter authorization testing department, was unavailable, and then, oh, damn, we can't get it out Tuesday. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah, there's some of that, I'm sure. I still think part of it is like the holiday slowdown. I think there is sort of a general tiny slowdown time between now and definitely Monday that is just kind of known. I don't know if that lasts again post New Year, sort of that New Year between Christmas and New Year's. It can be a little bit slower in general. I personally wouldn't be, I don't know. I would set expectations. I did hear it when we were talking with Marguerite when she was
set what
on.
expectations?
I would set again, I don't know the timing, and
Set
I would love
expectations that you have no expectations to set.
set expectation. Yeah, I guess. I am not expecting anything to happen in this, like, brief intermediate period, although I do think it would be a great, like, gift
You
surprise.
anti-pumper.
I don't know.
You
I obviously
inverse. You shorting pumper.
but that's the crazy thing about guessing the timing and even guessing when I think things won't happen is I don't know, and I could be wrong, and I would love to be wrong,
You told
but
me off air you did know and that you weren't gonna tell everybody.
keeping it a secret. I gotta have some, gotta have some things, some secrets. That's true.
You, in fact, told me if the SEC is listening that you planned on aggressively trading in your personal account on this
This
information.
is not what we should be. No, that is not true, given especially what we have coming up.
Hey,
Not.
the SEC's coming in
Yeah.
soon, everybody.
Yeah, it'll be good. It'll be exciting. We gotta make them some room, I guess. Give
We
them some
do.
coffee.
They'll come hang out right in our office.
Yeah, it'll be good. Do you wanna talk
Have
about that at all too, in terms of just
I can share the funniest story about an SEC review,
Sure.
which was when we first started. So we've had, I'll call it interactions with the SEC. Let me think.
Mhm.
I think it's been 6 times since we have opened or started business. And I
Mhm.
say started business because the story I'm going to tell you is at the very beginning, which is a bit funny. But
Okay.
I'll go backwards, which is we had an exam on the trust side. So the SEC sort of looks at all these entities differently. We've had an exam on the trust side in the past.
Mhm.
And that's where they look at stuff like how the funds are run, the exemptive relief, right, which we don't actually need anymore because there's a rule. Are you complying to your exemptive order, policy and procedures, trust, all the trust related stuff? And then I don't remember which one came first, but at a separate time, there was an exam, just a regular exam for the advisor. And so there they look into a lot more detail, our oversight of the sub advisors, our own internal policy and procedures, code of ethics, and then they look at our finances, they look at everything, right? It's pretty thorough. And so those were normal and sort of fine, and they're always going to find something or say something, right?
Sure.
And so I have to think through what we got back on our different letters, but no fines or no whatever, anything like that. But we've also been caught up in what I'll call sweeps before too, which is I got to think of the ones that happened, but I remember when BNY had some issues with their accounting system. And they have multiple different accounting systems and use different systems for different clients. And we happened to be affected by the one that went down.
Mhm.
And from of all the things that were happening at the time, the big one that I remembered was that they didn't have the ability to produce holdings. Now we had them, and we would always get updates, from our sub advisors who were trading them. So we had the data and we would post it. Normally, we post the data that we get every night from BNY Mellon, and many of you know, including Jane, who knows our process probably more intimately
Yes,
than
that is
others
true.
do. We get the data, we got to twist it around and do a bunch of stuff and make it look
Clean it
pretty, and
up,
then it's
organize it, I
yeah,
think, in a way that
right
makes
there you
sense,
go.
not, whatever.
So when
That's
BNY
true.
can't deliver the data and they
Big
no
problems.
ability to do it, yeah.
Yeah.
So we were scrambling because part of the exemptive relief was to post your holdings every day.
Mhm.
So we would do it. We just had our own data and we would post the actual information. And it
Mhm.
was interesting because things like NAV, I believe, at the time were still being calculated.
Mhm.
I might have to go back and look at all my old notes for that. But what's interesting about an NAV being calculated or not with an ETF is, remember, all of you guys that are watching, unless you also happen to be an authorized participant, don't trade at the ETF at NAV. So in our case, if we were dealing with issues around NAVs, we're only dealing with a handful of firms, and they're big institutional broker dealer type firms. So anyway, so we were producing the holdings on our own, verifying them with the sub advisor and getting through that. But then the SEC, as they would naturally, all the companies that were affected by it, what did you do? What did your procedures say? All of those things. Then we got caught up in other sweeps. They did in our early stages, and we were early on to social media. We just never obviously mentioned or did anything product related. Now FINRA allows some flexibility there, which is nice. But we've always been, as active as we can be on social media from our earliest days. And the SEC was just looking at companies that were on social, and then what their internal policy and procedures were and what they were doing and things like that. And then again, all fine, and actually received positive feedback on the procedures that we had in place to deal with that.
Nice job.
What else? High yield. When high yield had its troubles, that was 2014. We had that was our first fund that we got to $1 billion, HYLD. And then we get to $1 billion, 5-star ranking. Then the high yield space decides to blow up, and then we were in the toughest of the high yield space, and so that fund saw its performance decline dramatically. But then they had questions about how managers were handling it, how you dealt with the in kind or not in kind, how you dealt with redemptions, all sorts of stuff, and all fun. Very, very proud of the fact, and we've talked about this before, that compliance is an important part of our culture here, as much as it's all fun and games on the distribution side, even though there's still a lot of rules for us to abide by there.
Sure.
You just don't want any trouble with the regulators, any of them. And so you got to invest the time and money and people into that.
Yeah, no, I think it's weirdly very similar. It reminds me of cannabis in general. I think ultimately it's a business. It needs procedures, it needs policy, whatever. It does have that fun side of the, the products and the presentation and whatever, but it is ultimately, I know everything doesn't always tie in, but
and it's interesting. Well, even in cannabis, like people are like, why don't they just load up the marijuana and drive it over state lines and see what happens? And it's like,
I know.
If it's not your money or your business or your ass going to jail, that seems like a fantastic idea.
Yeah.
But when it is yours, you're like, you know what we'll comply with the rules for now.
Especially when there seems like there's change on the horizon. It's like, why rush it and why wait? I feel like if there was nothing, maybe, but I don't know.
Well, that's in their case. For us, well, I was going to say the wheels of rule changes, I was about to say run slow, but that's just not true. The rule changes have been flying fast and furiously, and holy cow, it's been hard for, smaller firms to kind of deal with all of these changes. I think in the whole scheme of things, all the rule changes have some good aspects to them, but many of them have, increased costs for smaller operators, increased costs for everybody. It's just the bigger firms can shoulder them a lot easier. And in some cases, right, like I think it's the summary financial reports now, we will save a ton of money on printing these semi-annual and annual reports, but separately we'll get a new fee because someone's got to create this summary version of it. So they want to charge a fee for doing that. So I'll pay a little bit of money here, but I'll save a little bit of money on the other side. And those are actually fund related costs. So that actually is good for shareholders, but anyways, the funny story, that was a long history to say the funny story of our first SEC, I guess it's exam. We had not launched yet, I believe at the time. We had exemptive relief. We had product and registration. We were marching towards launching it. I think even at the time, what we did, I remember weren't really marketing the product per se, but if you remember, the first product was DENT, the HS Dent strategy. And so we hadn't launched it yet. We were close. We had exemptive relief, and we get the call. Oh, the SEC wants to come in and just do a regular whatever exam audit. And we're like, okay, we have nothing, no assets, no shareholders, no publicly available fund, even though one was in registration. But if you want to, come on in. And our counsel called and was like, you guys sure you want to come in and examine them? The funny thing is you could say, oh, we just started, but it wasn't that we had just started. We'd been, aggressively running the business for probably a year at that point, from getting some funding to dealing with our challenges around exemptive relief and getting that product launched. So we'd actually been in business for a while. So under the heading of new advisor, it might actually make sense that they would come in and visit a new advisor. But we had nothing. And so they were like, no, you're on our list. We're coming in. So, all right, sounds good. Come on in. And at the time here locally, it was just 2 employees. Me and James were working here. Dan was based in Dallas, so he wasn't here locally. Excuse me. And we were in those Regis offices, so you can rent out, big space, small space, whatever you need, kind of the WeWork, kind of thing, except profitable and able to survive, at least so far. We just had one room, so it was 2 tables that sat, next to each other, and James on one side, me on the other, and we would do work and bang out calls and do all of that in one little room. Whatever, that was it.
Does that count as an open office plan if it's a shoebox that you're in, where it's literally one single? I mean, it is
technically, yeah, it just counts as sticking 2 dudes in a room, but yeah.
You're scrapping.
So they came in, we greet them in the lobby, we walk them back to where our office is, and we're like, "This is it." And they're like, "This is it?" I was like, "Yeah, this is the space. Like, come on in." And they're like, "Well," and because you normally put them in a conference room or something.
Yeah.
Okay, you guys have a conference room? Like, this is not, our space. They rent out conference rooms, but we can't afford. We hadn't even launched. We had no revenue. We can't afford to put you in a conference room. So come on in, right? We'll grab an extra chair. We barely had extra chairs to have them sit in. It was 2 people. So they sat in there, initial conversation, had some questions, gave us a list of things to get for them. They spent the morning kind of doing that, talking to us, looking at all the docs, very sort of awkwardly. We're all sitting in the room and we're trying to get work done. Yeah, it's weird. Like, they're just right there.
Yeah.
And I want to say they left for lunch. They were kind of in and out of the room that afternoon. And then I think they made it to the next morning, came in and said, "Okay, we're good. Thank you."
Bye.
We were like, "Okay, see you later." Wow. So it was kind of funny. We had nothing. There wasn't much for them to review. They were obviously fine with, or fine from an SEC perspective. They actually never say you're fine, by the way. They never give you a seal of approval. They never do anything. They just say, "Thank you for responding to our questions, and we have nothing further," or something like that for you. They never say, "Hey, good job," not, ruining, being criminal activity. But,
but you never get the relief of it's all
right.
Which is
I mean, it would be great, right? If you got some kind of like Morningstar 4-star, like, that's how good our compliance is.
A gold sticker or something.
Yeah. So we've got them coming in. It looks like it'll be both a trust and an advisor review. So that's bigger. So it's, tons of content, but on both sides. The holiday times are a bit tough because they do have fairly short time frames in which they want you to get information back to them. And so it'll be, the problem with these things really for us is just, it's a ton of work. Like, everything has to stop down and grab all these docs, grab all the information they want. They'll come in, they'll see the premises, they'll want to interview people. And then they always have like follow-up requests once they kind of get through the core kind of standardized list of what they want to see. And then it takes a while. There's a little bit of back and forth usually. And then eventually you get to the end, and they'll typically provide you with what they call a deficiency letter of some sort that says, right, here are the things that we think you should change. And at least for us in our history, it's been very few things, and whatever they suggest, obviously you're just going to look at it and be like, "Okay, we'll change that," unless you thought it was really crazy, but they're most of the time pretty normal, at least from what I've seen. So that's really the challenge for us, is that everything's got to kind of stop down a little bit, and we better be focusing in on these requests and giving them, a thorough response, and it will be fine in the whole scheme of things. And in some ways, I don't know. I mean, it's not one of those things where there's something at the end where you could show shareholders and say, "Hey, look at us, we're doing great." The SEC wouldn't even really allow you to do that. But it's sort of nice to go through, right? They come in and check, and, you just sort of reasonably confidently say, you also have to be careful. They've been in the offices of plenty of criminal enterprises and didn't catch
that's
it.
Not comforting. I was going to say, it's comforting that they're doing that for a lot of companies, but maybe not. Dang.
Right. Well, because it was the whole Bernie Madoff thing, right?
Yeah.
Like, they did check him out, and he just lied well enough that he got it around them. And they probably were guilty of a little, like, this doesn't seem like the kind of guy who's going to commit massive fraud. And turns out he was the kind of guy who would commit massive fraud.
Sure.
So yeah, it's weird,
okay.
But and stressful. It's like, what the funny thing is, it's like if you've been pulled over by the cops, but you don't, let's assume for a moment you don't know what you did. No, typically, I think, Mackenzie, for you said it's speeding, or it's just waving your middle finger out of the window is why you often get pulled over.
That's not illegal. Freedom of speech.
Honking and just giving everyone the bird because you're such a Birds fan.
Yeah, that is a very go Birds gesture, I will say, in Philadelphia, having been back.
It is. But it feels like that, right? It's that level of stress where you get pulled over and you're like, it's the cops. You haven't done anything, and you're not. It's not like you have anything, whatever. So most cases don't have anything illegal in your car or whatever, and you're like, you're just nervous, right? And so it's kind of one of those things more than anything else.
Do you want me to?
And that's it. The show's over. I took that story and ran 10 minutes with it. Congratulations.
It's good. I feel like it's a good behind the scenes in terms of how things work and operate, and just
there you go.
good in
general.
If
you want to know the dirty details,
exciting secrets. I could order more to the office. Would you think an SEC person would take?
They will take a beverage from you. I do recall. I don't remember what visit it was.
It's legal. It's legal. I don't know. The cannabis, would they do it?
Well, here's what they said. When we offered them, what can we get you, right? But this is not a bribe. And one guy, I think it was a guy or girl, the response was funny. They said, we're allowed to have anything that fits through a straw. And I don't know if at the time I suggested rolling $100 bills and or just some blow, right? That fits through a straw. They have a great time while they were here.
Oh, no. So, well, I'm sure you're one of their favorites.
Don't offer the SEC that, though. Take my advice.
There you go.
But we could have some cans, right? We could have the world's thinnest pre-rolls. I wonder how it's going to work when they see the joints on the wall that says break in case of DEA news. But
the goal is hopefully that would be a tight time frame. But if we could break that in time
before, oh my God,
you never know. Yeah,
I won't even care, right? Because again, in my mind, which doesn't mean this is going to happen.
I know.
People of the internet.
I know.
You 1%ers out there who believe stuff that you hear on the internet.
It's easy.
What?
It's easy to get excited about, again, something that you're coming, but it's the timing. I don't know.
I'm excited. But so anyways, if it happens, but before then I'm going to presume, this is a wild presumption, but maybe not so much, stocks will move in the way that I really want them to move. And then, I'll probably, if that happens before they get here, I'll probably, no guarantees, so don't hold me to this, but I may do the interviews like in a tank top and Speedos. Just.
You trying to make them hang around longer and spend more time? Is that the goal?
Just like, oh my God, you guys, cannabis stocks are up. They'll just look at me cross-eyed.
Yeah.
The funny thing is they may review some of these videos before they come in.
They're welcome to, and that's fine.
I would like to say we're friends.
It's lighthearted. It's fun.
Friends. I actually do have friends that work for the SEC.
Oh, nice. Are they going to come and visit? No, I feel like a conflict of interest. Huge.
I'm calling them all right now saying, what do you know? Just kidding.
Do you see this from Jane? Would be amazing if they get to be there for the glass painting. It'd be awesome. I would film that 1,000%.
Dude, I'm going to. The funny thing is, it also keep in mind too, this is one of many steps that we need, right? But it's just such a big step that yes, we'll be, if you're in the office, it'll be noticeable the day that we see that announcement.
I'm excited. Okay, again, we'll hope and see.
Should we do the reveal, even though I know we have other topics to talk about?
We do. Can we hold the reveal really quickly just for a little bit? So if you can see behind Noah, there's a mysterious, if I can point to it, mysterious cloaked object here, which is the one that he was teasing on X. Super cool. We'll show it. It is from our designer who does a fantastic job. But I did want to, can we cover the rest of the cannabis? Are you teasing it? Okay, that's the teaser of what it is. All right. We'll uncover it. I do want to get, Jane was talking about the Biden announcement. Just wanted to touch on that really quickly before we hit that. Any thoughts? Any, how much does it matter?
She is relating my thoughts as she writes that comment and that note, especially as it relates to the visualization of the word, dominoes.
That would be good.
And so, I think that's where I'm at. These are small little things that are all happening. We've seen comments from, other departments, other groups about different changes that people are looking at. This all has to happen if we think what is going to happen is going to happen right around Schedule 3. In some ways, Biden, including, the statement to various state, entities, law enforcement, whoever, that they need to be doing the same thing. because he can only do things at a federal. It sounds like he can only do things at a federal level, and Washington D.C. So I know someone who was frustrated on X today. When I had posted, I said intentionally, like, this is a small step in the right direction.
Sure.
And the interesting thing is, I said small because I'm, biasly thinking about it from an investing perspective. But if you are part of the people that are getting this expunged off your record, you're like, holy shit, this is what an amazing gift finally.
Yeah.
At the end of this year. And if you're the 11 people, it sounds like that, could be released or whatever, you're
Also
pretty
huge.
happy too. So it's a big deal, at least for the people that it impacts. I mean, I know it's not a big enough deal for what we are looking for from an investing perspective, but to use Jane's word again, it's a domino, and there are some that have fell over. There are some that are leaning.
Leaning.
And you just want to see that they are continuing to fall. And this is one more domino that has fallen.
So I think you're right about the personal level and kind of putting that aside and looking at just the investing perspective and sort of the political perspective. Do you think it's putting a toe in again to see how people react and sort of his popularity is affected, if at all, by cannabis, by doing something smaller like this versus kind of leading up to the DEA? Do you think it could be, because I've heard so much back and forth in terms of like, it's an issue that people care about, of course, but like there's a lot of other stuff going on. So that's in the mix as well. How much does cannabis sway the needle for a presidential election? I don't know. I think it could
I
be
mean, the
something.
answer is I don't know, but I do let two things sort of drive what I think about it. So one, I let history drive what I think about it. And historically, doing enough has has gotten them to whatever they're satisfied enough that they haven't done more and what we all really want them to do.
Mhm.
So in some ways, if they thought doing more would be better, you think they would have done more already. But so that's
Yeah.
why I'm not sure that they make that same connection. And in my mind, if we're going to say that they do something like this to kind of test the waters, test the feedback, see how it goes, it would also then be a reasonable thought that when they get really, really negative feedback, like they have been on this topic for most of their current, administration, right? This session, once, Biden won, it would, if they're listening to the positive effects on it, it would tell me that they're listening to the negative effects, and nothing, at least in their action, has told me that they're listening to the negative effects. So all that is to say that I don't think this is about testing. I don't know that it's about votes per se, but I do think indirectly it might be. I think this is, one of many things they do want to work on. They get tossed around and adjusted in terms of their priority level when you think about everything that's gone on during this administration, right? We've had, I mean, there's been a lot of bad stuff that's gone on. Sorry, Biden and other Democrats who support the administration, which, they've done some good things. But yes, we've had a war in Ukraine, and we've had some meaningful bank failures that somehow we have brushed off. We've had a global pandemic. We've had, the greatest, increase of I believe, of our debt, and any whatever previous administration or whatever decade or whatever you want to call it. There's just been a lot of bad stuff that's happened. And I think that, then gets you off of that track of, I've got 20 or 50 things I want to all accomplish, and cannabis is one of them. So I wished that it's all about them leveraging it and going to use it to move forward and win things. They really haven't done it effectively in the past. So nothing tells me that they're going to do it effectively in the future. Maybe with the one exception that, if they you keep voting the same people in office and they keep screwing you over, they're going to keep screwing you over because they want you to keep voting them in the office. And they've realized we'll do that.
Yeah, and again, maybe if the screwing over isn't reacted to in terms of voting people out or whatever, they think, oh, it's not that big of an issue. It's fine. It's sort of a, even though it is not keeping up with your promises, if people don't react negatively to you not keeping your promises, then that's sort of part of it. Also, brief intermission. Can you hear some ASMR? One sec here.
No, what is it? Actually, speaking of that, this fan on this laptop's going off, if you can hear it. Oh, now you're on mute, though, goofball. You can keep talking and waving your hands, but while you're on mute, it won't work. Dear people of the internet.
Back to working.
Oh, now it's working.
All right, let me try one more time. Dang it. She just stopped snoring. One more time. Come on.
This is the dog.
The dog is under the thing and she's been snoring very loud. Could you hear any snoring at all?
No.
It doesn't come through.
Can you reenact what it sounded like?
I cannot, although I am sick enough, still vaguely, that I could definitely do something. Oh, that's why. Okay, it didn't work because it was on the wrong. What? Whatever. All right. It's on the wrong microphone. That's the problem. Dang it. All right. I'll get it together eventually again. I'll do it. I think it's a very cute sound. All right. Sorry to get way off track. It was just very cute and wanted to capture it. Okay.
I like it.
Let me get better audio as well.
Switching your audio account?
Switching the audio. Do you want to do the review?
You ready? So I'll tell you the quick story behind it. This has to do with, well, there's a couple stories to tell you. But specifically, this thing actually has to do with our planning for Benzinga in Chicago, which was several months ago. And we try to find some, swag and fun stuff we can bring to the booth. And people come by and they say, hey, look at that cool stuff. And then we force them to talk to us. And then, we try to pressure them and their family members into buying our ETFs. And you know how it goes. Anyways, so somewhere along the way, an idea of, I think, a cannabis themed keychain came up. Mm-hmm. And so we work with Steve Quinn.
It's fantastic.
What's the website? Go2qdesign.com.
Go2Q Design. Exactly right.
So feel free to hire him for all your design needs. And so we've been working with him since the beginning. We've known Steve a long time. So great guy, very good at his job. Done some cool things for us. And so one of the things he came across was that someone could sort of die cut something where we could have the logo emblazed on it and it would look like a cannabis sleeve. And we talked about doing it, and what we wound up doing, I think, is, well, one, we definitely did the cool stickers that for those of you that have won some stuff, I think we throw some in each time. If you were at Benzinga, they were on the conference table. I have them right here, right? My laptop. Something unplugged on me, but anyways, so we had mentioned the thing about the keychain, and I guess I never really thought twice about it, but it was just something we didn't wind up giving away. And I never really sort of followed up on, were we going to do it or what happened. But so when this thing showed up in the mail, excuse me, I've got hiccups, showed up yesterday, this is what the keychains look like. So it has the little ring. It has, and I got to do it where you can see it with the Advisor Shares logo. I think you're still in mute, by the way. There's something wrong with your microphone. You're not
good
on,
now. Sorry, I was just pantomiming.
And so it's got the Advisor Shares thing, but what you don't know is this is literally metal die cast cut. And so you can,
it is also a defense weapon kind of thing. I think we have. Oh, no. Yeah. Oh, you're trying to do ASMR? Oh, no, that would make it into the wall. It would legitimately impact the wall is the problem.
Anyways, so Steve made the executive decision to not send these to us so that people wouldn't be murdering each other at the cannabis conference. With that being said, I guess I'll carry it and bring it closer.
Sure, that's
here. Then I got to tell the story of our holiday stuff. And so you've seen I'm going to try to turn the camera. You've seen this behind McKinsey.
That's the office. Right? Yes, that is the
Describe what that is for everybody.
It is the alpha symbol. Steve Quinn also made this, and it's made out of, I think, typewriter keys and bits and pieces. Super creative, super fantastic. And then I think it says Advisor Shares at the bottom in type keys. Beautiful piece of art. And the orange. Perfect. Amazing. This is on the move. Love it. I can't hear you, though, if you're saying anything.
I'm not saying anything.
All right. Oh, no. Now it's crooked. There we go. Kind of. Beautiful. All right. Let's see it. Bum, ba-dum, bum, bum. How cool is that? So neat. So it's a giant cannabis leaf made up of these very dangerous, sharp but beautiful, keychains. How cool is that? Shiny, nice, cool. Oh, look at that. Pan shot. Yeah, so that will be definitely making its way to the background because it's so cool. It's so neat. So just wanted to share that. I think another piece of cool cannabis art. Thanks for unveiling it, Noah.
Stuff.
Oh, no.
I gotta fix this camera though.
There you go. Good stuff.
Some slight camera adjustments. It's also very crooked now, right?
It is a little bit, but that's fine. You know?
I can fix it. I can
Okay.
fix it.
That is true. You can do it. But yeah, fantastic. And hopefully a good, what is that called? The good luck charm coming into 2024 / rounding out 2023. That looks good. That looks good.
Exciting stuff.
We'll see.
And so maybe we'll throw in. So you threw in the few extra Chinese stars that we have.
Anyway.
Hopefully that's not offensive. Are they still called Chinese
Throwing
stars, by the way?
I think
Throwing stars.
Throwing stars. I think that's right.
We shouldn't just ascribe them to China. Other countries have their own throwing stars, right?
You do currently. American throwing stars.
Good point. Very good point.
But yeah, so good
All
stuff. Right. Back on track.
Do I still look good on the camera?
Look great. All right.
So we've talked about the rumor. So some are suggesting before year end. I mean, I want that to happen, but
yeah, the same view.
I would be shocked if any government entity actually got any work done between the week of Christmas and New Year's. But you know, if you're getting it in before the end of the year, we're down to it.
It'd be good. I don't know. No expectations.
Oh, and you're saying you still think it's another year out, is what you said?
Another 5 years out, another 10 years out, 100 years out. No, I don't know. I don't think it's that long. I think we will all live to see it happen. But yeah, the timing is tough for sure.
Stock prices are liking it.
I was going to say, yeah. So I was looking at sort of stocks on the move in general earlier. It seemed like, not surprisingly, a ton of it is in cannabis stocks, a good amount in psychedelics, which kind of also not surprising, just given that things have been moving, they move a lot in general, but also I think for psychedelics, things have been moving well, positively, at least this last kind of quarter. And then I feel like there were a few energy names. I know energy had been doing well today. Dutch Bros was in there though. I did want to point that out. That was a fun.
In terms of having a good day, or
they're having a good day in eats. Oh yeah, okay, that's true. I think people do think the 420 thing. I'm not sure.
But 420. Here's my issue with 420, and it doesn't matter. Well, it's not just far away, and it's 420 for what? Because if it's 420 for the DEA response, then we're a bit of a ways away. From 3, 6 months, maybe 9, right, from any real changes. So if you want to go into the election, right, and try to influence voters, I guess you want to make sure between April and November, you kind of got the deal done, I would think. And again, that's probably how a rational person thinks. Is that how the politicians think? I don't know. I think sometimes they think, let me just keep doing lip service, or all right over there? What are you doing?
I still want to get her snore on the thing while she's doing it.
Lord.
I keep missing it.
Why didn't you take home the wireless mics and just pin it to the top?
That would have been great. Get an extra camera open. Sorry.
So, it does seem like, part of the politician's playbook is, right, talk about it, and that'll get you votes. Do very little, that'll get you some votes before you actually ever are sort of forced to get things done. So yeah, you could be right. Could be 420.
Margaret was saying yesterday or the day before yesterday, which is funny, that she thinks it's January 5th because that's how you reduce a fraction for 420. Very funny. Possibly. You never know.
That's a good one.
Oh, that's so sweet. Okay, all right. I'll try to capture the snore. Also, how do you find the time, Jane? That's crazy and impressive.
What is she doing?
That's how many cookies she baked.
Oh my God! Wow.
1,000.
That's a lot.
I have to send you a recipe, Jane. You would surprisingly like this. You would hate the description of this. I made some cookies recently. Guess the 2 ingredients that are the main part of the cookie. It's not cannabis.
Weed and kombucha.
Okay, that would be good. It's peanut butter. Sounds normal and good. And miso. It's a New York Times, whatever, miso paste. It's really good. I will send you the recipe, Jane, if you want it to try it. I will not send you the recipe because you would absolutely not try it ever, but it's very good.
Is it good? Have you made them with it?
I have made them, and they are very
Just
good.
bring them in the office, dude. Don't
I have
bogart the
eaten
miso cookies.
a ton of them, but maybe if I make some more, then I will. But they were very, very good. Yeah, I think you'd like it, Jane. Give it a try if you want.
Miso hungry.
Miso, perfect.
That's not right.
Horrible. But yeah. So anyhow, cookies, cannabis.
Plus, you shouldn't laugh so hard at your own jokes.
That's not my joke. That was okay. Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know what? You gotta laugh a little bit. That's good. All right. Well then.
So I was looking at stocks on the move, by the way. So it wasn't just you.
Look at you.
But what was standing out for me wasn't so much who was moving high and low, but just, and it's always interesting in McKinsey's familiar with the view in which we're able to look at it. We can kind of see all the equity holdings at once. And it's not surprising, right? When I see the cannabis companies, there's an overlap a little bit, right? MSOS and YOLO sometimes, of course, will have some overlap being, global versus US. And so really I'm looking at the stocks kind of outside of cannabis, but where I see, more than one line item, right? Where I see one or, two or three of the same stock. So there's stuff like, is it Viasat? I don't know if you just heard. Viasat, which I'm assuming satellite, right? Communications.
Sure.
Are held in two ETFs, both in our short ETFs.
Interesting. And they are down today?
No, they're up big. Sorry, everybody. They're up 2%. Okay. But just interesting. I just find it interesting when, one has technical analysis, one is fundamental. They'll use some macro technical analysis. But when both of those features are hitting, I'm gonna probably keep getting calls, by the way.
That's
does it sound like someone propped open the door? Could you hear the alarm going off for a second or not?
No.
These microphones are
great. What's going on? People breaking in? What's the deal?
No, it's that thing where it gets held open for too long and then it starts beeping.
Yeah.
And then when it beeps, the security place calls.
Oh, well, that's good. Good security. Good to have it.
Yeah. Actually, bad news on psychedelics because Sage Therapeutics, the good news is they're up 84 basis points, or at least as of whenever I last refreshed the screen on the stock. But another overlap, and it's held in DWSH. Did you know that?
I did not know that. Okay, here's the good news. Let me turn around with the shorts. Something that was interesting, also a cross-held name. Ticker FL. Any guesses?
Locker?
Exactly right. So I don't know if it's coming off like the Nike throw up thing from their earnings, their horrible earnings, and people being like, are people buying shoes? I don't know what the deal is, but it's in both Hedge and DWSH, and I think they're down just under 5%. So, isn't that always the worst? Yeah. So, yeah.
I was also going to point out, now they've moved, but I think it was Spirit and one other airline, but a different airline are also being shorted, I believe. So again, I look for just the overlap where if I've got two different airlines, but both in the short funds and they look at the world kind of differently, if they both don't like it, then it just piques my interest. Dollar General is in both of our short ETFs.
Which is also surprising because they had that price hike a little while ago. I think a lot of people are looking to find value buys for whatever they're buying. So that one was surprising to me.
Inflation's $1.05 store now.
It is. It's $1.25. $1.25.
Damn, it's a lot.
Yeah, it's
Steel Dynamics in two ETFs. So it's in our Sure SURE ETF, which focuses on buyback. Well. Yeah. Oh my God. Very well. And then also in GK. So Ross likes it as well, which is awesome. Nice. Harley Davidson on both of our short ETFs, though they are up today.
Nice.
Here's a long and a short. So on semiconductor, Hedge is short. GK is long. Now, interestingly enough, this was a while ago, probably 3 or 4 or 5 months ago. I was actually talking about these guys, I believe the same company. They've been a short for quite a while, probably off and on, but quite a while in Hedge. And the rationale for it, as I understand it, is this company, I believe, and I think it has to do with monitors or the glass on monitors or something like that.
OLED display.
Yes, that they are like a key supplier for Samsung or something like that. But Samsung has bought some other company, and probably odds are most of their business is going to move to that company. So this company, which gets most of its business from Samsung, is going to struggle. And so I heard that.
Okay, sorry. Yeah, they're going to struggle. That's the competition's there. Got it. Nailed it. That was not me. That was a dog.
It almost sounded like a fart. It was
so low and rumbly. She's just chilling. Anyhow, okay.
oh my
Face more
God.
competition.
I think I told you too, right? In preparation for our guest that should be here, in a month or so. I'm going to start bringing the dog into the office, right? Like, oh,
yeah.
How can we yell at you guys? You guys have a dog in the office.
Yeah, there you go. I can bring things.
Yeah, I don't know if that trick will work. Anyways, going through my doubles, Altria.
Wait,
right?
sorry,
Altria.
we missed that. I interrupted your story about the competition, the screens on.
Just that they are a key Samsung provider. Samsung bought another company that does the same thing, and odds are no guarantees. And that's the idea behind the short thesis for hedge, and it's why this company's been a short position for them for a while. Is that they will continue to decline and lose that business.
Can you hear it from here? By the way, it's so bad. No.
Oh.
It's too quiet. She's doing louder ones.
I got one.
There you go. All right, sorry. All right. Enough of that. She's so cute. Okay, what were the other ones you had to pull up? You got a ton of them today. It's good.
Jane's asking, what is miso? Which is a really good question.
I think it's it sounds gross. I think it's fermented bean.
Well, it's funny. I guess I never get some thought in terms of like when you have miso soup, right? But I think it is I thought it was like a version of ginger almost or something.
Let me do a quick Google to confirm, but I'm pretty sure it's like you take, it could be grains too, and then it like goes through a fermenting process with like mold effectively. And okay, a thick paste produced by fermenting
you look
soybeans.
That up. I will keep going through my doubles while you look that up.
It's soybeans.
Altria, which is not surprising, is in the Vice ETF because it's tobacco, which you'll also find in the largest index cannabis ETF, by the way, who also likes to engage in particular criminal activities. And I'm shocked people keep their money in that fund, but that's a whole separate thing in just my opinion, but don't worry about it.
Yeah.
Anyways, makes sense that Altria would be in Vice, not an index-based cannabis ETF. And sure, it's in Sure, the buyback ETF. So
nice.
yeah, that's a good sign. So I love to see the overlaps. And then sometimes when I go through this list, I see sort of not surprising overlaps, right? So here's another Vice and Beds with Boyd's Gaming, right? So it's got the hotel component for beds. It's got the gaming component for Vice. MGM in Vice, Beds, and GK. So Ross is loving some gambling. Starbucks, Eats, and Sure, which means, he likes it from a buyback perspective. Dan likes it because it's in the restaurant industry. Again, not surprising. El Pollo Loco.
Perfect. Look at that almost Spanish accent. From Spain. Loco. They got the.
I am a mixed breed, right? So back in the day, I used to be able to speak the foreign language. NVIDIA, 3 positions. Sure, part of Gaming with Vice, also in GK.
Yep.
Ichi Properties, which has been a long time position in Vice and Beds, now in GK as well. Home Depot in Sure and in GK. Lowe's, it being shorted and hedged, but also long and Sure with buybacks, which is going to probably make that one a tougher short. Yeah.
That's cool. Did you also hear with NVIDIA? Oh, sorry, the tweet about they're having an issue because because it's been doing so well, a lot of the employees are like in semi-retirement almost because so they have a huge issue with anyhow, one of those funny things. But I mean, glad it's doing well.
Microsoft millionaires. Do you hear the funny story of the kid who hacked the NVIDIA chip, got arrested, and while they were holding him in like some hotel room, I don't know why they were holding him there before going somewhere else or going to court or going to whatever, somehow with like a phone, an Amazon Fire Stick, and the hotel internet access, the guy hacked into Rockstar Games, and he was the one that released the early video clips of Grand Theft Auto.
Or Grand Theft Auto. Yeah.
But it's like some kid who's like an amazing hacker and did it with a phone and an Amazon Fire Stick. That is
it's crazy.
Bananas. Yeah.
Again, the importance of cybersecurity on one end, but yeah, for that individual kid, very impressive. I know obviously not using it appropriately yet, but could definitely be turned
Smartest
into
thing our government can do, be like, listen, kid, you got a pardon.
Right.
You're going to come work for us for 5 years and pay him a ton of money, make him wealthy.
Yeah.
But you need to put him on Team USA.
Or a
That kid
company
has that
jumping in
kind
as
of
well.
talent.
I guess they'd still
What?
be arrested, so that's still the problem. I was gonna say a company to snatch him up, but they would
Oh
have
my
to do it with
God,
the
right.
arresting
Elon
component,
Musk,
but
pay him,
Elon Musk.
give him some Tesla stock and get him motivated
Yeah.
and focused.
True. Yeah.
But there's lots of other overlap. Sometimes it's long, short. Sometimes it's long. But Hedge is short fox. Sure is long fox.
Mhm.
Trip.com and AADR, which is interesting. I didn't know that was an AADR or an ADR.
Mhm.
Hedge and Beds. So not
Nice.
surprising. Caesars and Beds and Vice. And then actually at my bottom of my list is the one you mentioned, Foot Locker, in both of our short ETFs and down 5% today.
Love to see it. Sadly.
Yeah.
Love to
In the short
love
funds, we don't mind seeing that at all.
Yeah, if it's happening, love to see it in the short ETFs.
Then I got to do a quick glance at MSOS.
Positive still?
It
Again?
came down a couple pennies, but still up nicely. What did you find out about miso?
Miso? It is fermented soybeans. So that's what it is. It sounds gross, but I think you put like basically a mold on it. There's ways to make it.
Why is it so damn tasty in a soup?
I don't know, but it's so good. Okay, yeah. So salt and koji, which is the fungus Aspergillus oryzae, something like that. So there you go. That's how you make it. That
So,
you don't
Gene,
have to
you're
make
going to
your
want
own.
to get a hold of some
No,
fungi fermented soybeans.
I think, yeah. I think you could give it a try and you'd like it. But who knows?
Actually, you know what else it's good on is a fine miso glaze on salmon.
That is true. That is
So
true.
little did I realize now that I was getting moldy fermented soybeans on top, but
Fermented beer you have sometimes, and it's fermented too with bacteria. I think it's just, isn't
they
it?
take the bacteria part out, don't they?
I think it
And leave all the
eats
good stuff in.
I think the alcohol does kill it in a lot of ways, but
Yeah.
oh, that is very unfortunate. I think I did know that, but that is tough to be allergic to something that is,
Yeah.
super
When's the
common
last
or
time you had a penicillin shot?
oh,
Or is that you can't talk about it under HIPAA?
a HIPAA violation. I legitimately don't know, so, that's fair.
When's the
Oh, yeah.
last time you had a tetanus shot? I
Uh,
remember it's been like forever for me, and I just remember how painful those things were.
yeah. I mean, all
Um,
needles suck, unfortunately. I think it's just part of it, but gotta keep
I don't know
yourself
what it was
healthy.
about the tetanus, and I think from what I recall, it went right into your muscle, and it was like, ah, and you get it, like,
Yeah,
especially when I remember being younger and like,
the ache.
you'd scrape your foot on a rusty nail or something, and while it was bleeding, like, oh, you're gonna have to get a tetanus shot. I'm like, ah, I don't want that.
It's better than getting, I guess, tetanus. Who knows?
It's better than getting my foot cut
Oh,
off,
God.
but no
Yeah.
offense to people with their feet cut off.
It's just
They
a
live,
lifestyle that you're not
they can
choosing.
still live their best life, right?
That's true. Yeah, who knows? Alright.
Um,
I think
where
that's
will
it.
you be for the holiday known as Christmas?
I'm going to be in Pennsylvania, Philadelphia, go Birds, again, hanging out for the holiday season. I guess we're gonna be watching the game. Is it Sunday?
I think you guys are playing the Giants. Is that right?
I think so. I think
I
it's
will
5.
laugh for 5 minutes straight on the
If they
next. I
lose.
mean, nonstop. And 5 minutes is a long time.
It's too long.
If you guys, I think you're playing the Giants. If you lose to the Giants,
Alright. I hope it doesn't happen.
I will record myself laughing and I will post it on Twitter for you, and I will tag you in it.
I really hope
Conversely, if we get beat by Miami, people expect us to be beat by them, but I think we can beat Miami.
that would be when's our next game? When's the next, Cowboy I mean, I guess it depends if they make it through.
There's no
We'll see
more
how they
Cowboys Eagles games.
Okay.
If we see each other again, it'll be playoffs.
Ooh, exciting.
So, which I think you guys are. Well, the funny thing is, we're still in first place because you guys lost last weekend, shockingly.
Yeah, okay. Rubbing it in.
So I think last weekend when we also lost, right? We qualified for playoffs. So you guys must have qualified for playoffs as well. I gotta imagine.
I think
You think that you did?
I think that we did.
Okay.
Because
So yeah, so odds are we'll see each other then in the playoffs. And again, I have to caveat it with assuming Cowboys make it because We do have some
You never
tough
know.
games ahead. You guys have some easy ones. And depending on what everybody else's, schedule looks like in the NFC side of things, I guess it depends on where we might see each other again. Actually, just a quick gambling note, if anyone cares about my gambling habits. Everyone's been talking about this Dan AI 2.0, whatever person has got all these crazy algorithms for his betting. And I followed a couple of them and they've worked well. I know he hasn't had, it's not by a perfect track record by any means, but I actually wound up placing two crazy bets. He put out something yesterday where it was his over under for NBA for the games that evening. And then it was like his, highest probability stuff. And so he had a couple where it's like 100% probability it's going to hit, right? Which is crazy. Which seems not true.
It's not,
right?
yeah. 100%. Yeah.
But I took his top over and his top under, but then I parlayed them. And then I think because each one had odds that were sort of fine. They were like a plus 100, maybe one was a minus 100, something like that. Maybe they both were minus 100s or something. So you get some money, but it wasn't great odds. But I think in part because why maybe these bets as a standalone bet would be easy enough, right? So the odds were lower. So I thought, I'll parlay them. And then combo that bet, and it took the odds to like a plus 435, something like that. And it hit.
Okay, how much did you bet? $1? That's huge, though.
This one I went higher. I went $25.
Whew. That's pretty solid, right?
I was feeling it good, right? When you feel good like that, when you're out of your mind.
What are you gonna spend it on? What's the
booze and chicks and cannabis? I think.
There you go. Cannabis first, I think.
That's why guys should not be in charge.
Well,
we're not good money allocators.
They do say sometimes. That is true.
Who said it, Mackenzie? Name them.
I don't know, but the study about I think it's female investors versus male investors sometimes can get a little crazy. You can kind of feel the hot
spot. 2 picks
spot.
parlay, 25 got me plus 423 odds. So the $25 gave me 130, but I think of that 130, 25 of it is your own money back, right?
Whatever. Still. As long as you're not taxed on it on the way back.
My multi-$100 balance. Is that the right way to say it? Multi-$10 balance.
Yeah.
I have
I have
tens of dollars invested in this account.
Cash money. Take it out, invest it somewhere else. Invest it in maybe cannabis. You never know.
Yeah. All right, let me look at some of these comments. Josh, happy holidays, buddy.
Also,
everyone's
almost
giving
farewell.
Season greetings. You guys should do a bet on the Eagles Giants game.
Well, we have your laughing. Yeah.
Yeah, my God. I bet if the Eagles lose to the Giants, I bet the Eagles suck. And it is nice. Isn't this from a bet, right?
This is from a bet too. Yeah. So we'll have to come up with some creative ones for 2024 in general, but I definitely think, yeah.
I'm drinking the tears of Philly Eagles fans right now.
No, that's not from this one, is it? No, we haven't had that one yet.
No, still, it tastes like victory to me.
Yeah, well, we'll see after the Dolphins, maybe. Yeah, it'll be good. But yeah. All right.
Eagles are so CB confirmed it. Eagles have qualified for the playoffs.
What?
I'm laughing at comments.
They're good. They're solid.
Well, all right. What else have you got for us? Anything? This is it. The whole world's listening. Tell them what you want to say right now.
I think that's just what I will say. Thanks everyone for hanging with us, watching with us. I know it's been a crazy year.
Fun year.
Fun in some ways, crazy in some ways.
Is it all replays next week too?
So it is all replays. But yeah, so thanks for joining in. For next week,
we are going on hiatus. You're going on hiatus.
Kind of temporarily. We're doing sort of a best of
I'll do
popular ones.
I won't leave you guys like Mackenzie will.
We'll be here on Twitter, on X.
I'll do a midnight spaces.
Live. Oh no. After the beer. Yeah, maybe. So we'll have some guests you guys have seen before, but kind of refreshing those interviews, relevant kind of to see previous perspectives as they come through. You'll see the schedule on the event center, and then you'll see them on all the platforms, YouTube.
What if something gets filed from the DEA next week? Will you do a breaking news live stream?
Absolutely. I feel like, and then you'd have to unfortunately drive to the office, break the thing, do a little stream of that.
Oh, totally.
You got to do something. That'd be great.
And we should think about who we can get on
to comment on it.
That will be fun. And that is flexible to work last minute. Sometimes, people's schedules are busy at all. Like Jason, you should reach out to Jason and be like, hey,
Jason's great.
If you're around.
I will say on the record, an open letter to any of the, MSOs people in general. If you want to jump on when that happens, celebrate a little bit. You are very welcome to. But Jason would be great to have on as well. I agree.
Who you should have on is the Grizz. He knows how to celebrate.
That's true. I've seen.
I like his Friday pump up videos.
Pump up the jam. Gotta get that energy going into the weekend. Carry it through for the next.
Why won't you do more of those videos?
I won't. Maybe in 2024 I'll turn and leave. Who knows? Also very sad.
Yeah. Why don't you? Can't we do?
We could do.
We could do a version of Cameo where, for charity, of course, people would email you stuff and then you would have to cut a video and say it.
Well, you could do something that gets featured on the AlphaNooner maybe rather than a Cameo. Like, you get the most retweets or something and we'll say
but the Cameo stuff is funny. Was it you showing me one? Yes, you showed me one. The politician.
They are wild. They're so much fun. Yeah, I think some of them are, there's a range on Cameo that you can find, but that's just wild to see that those were real politicians, and that's,
Oh my God, Josh wants you to belt out. What's a good? How about "Do They Know It's Christmas"? Can you sing that song? That was probably even before you were born.
No, I'm thinking of
you just want a dashing through the snow kind of song.
We can maybe. I don't want
that should be the bet. Well, the problem is there's no way I would bet
in that time.
The loss can't be me singing. I will not participate in that bet.
If it somehow happens, I guess it can't happen before Christmas. In the week of Christmas.
You could sing "Celebrate" by Kool and the Gang if we get some good news.
Yeah. I don't think it's possible.
What do you want for Christmas, by the way?
I would love New Year karaoke would be very fun. I think, it's just some time. All I really want, hanging out, spending time, taking a little nice little day. It's true. I don't have very much.
You told me that if you didn't get diamonds in a big ass car, it's over.
It's a Santa baby. Yeah, all the lyrics, a Cadillac, a convertible, whatever. Nothing crazy. I don't know. We'll have to see. I hope my gifts go over well.
You told me that you wanted one of those. Dang, I can't even think of what's the Julia Roberts movie with Richard Gere?
Oh, Pretty Woman?
Pretty Woman, yeah. You said you wanted a Pretty Woman shopping spree, but without the prostitution part, is what you told me.
That's always the key. That's always the key part of it, for sure. Did you know when they have the necklace or whatever the jewelry is, and he snaps it on her and she reacts like crazy? That was apparently improvised. Fun fact.
Oh, hey. Who would have thought actors would act?
They can do fun stuff. I don't know. Yeah. All right. I think they can. Ooh, what's that?
And let's be honest. Were you born after that movie?
I don't know.
Anyone? Can someone check when Well, first of all, what year were you born? Do you want to disclose that or not?
I should. I'm 30. No one can do math. Oh, she's snoring again. Here she goes.
Wait, so what year does that make you born in?
93.
Oh, God. The movie came out of March 23rd of 1990.
Close, but no cigar. That's okay.
Lift up that dog. Just bring that dog's face up.
The dog is sleeping, but I do want to bring her in that. Let's see.
Before we leave this show, and we are well past time to leave this show.
Yes, we also are off Instagram now because I think it's as a 1 hour cap. Come here, dog.
Well, bye everybody on Instagram.
All right. See you here.
Come on.
Here we go.
Get that dog. Get that dog. How much does that dog weigh?
55 pounds, which is a little
Holy cow.
Come here. Okay.
That's probably legitimately half your weight, right?
She is, yeah.
Wow, if you deadlift 55 pounds, I'm gonna be impressed.
All right, prepare to be impressed. Here she is.
Look at those arms.
There's the
Like-
sleepy girl.
You got to move the dog up a little bit or the camera because the label's in the way.
Okay. Does that work? It's so dark in here for no reason. All right, I can
It's
do it
right.
closer.
It's behind the Mackenzie Peterson. Oh my God. Look at that dog.
There she is. I know you're so confused. You were sleeping just a second.
Dog's like,
ago.
why are you doing this to me? Why?
It's okay. Oh, she's so sleepy. All right.
That's awesome.
How you doing, dog? But yeah, so hope everybody gets some time to hang out with their pets, loved ones. All of that.
Enjoy your holidays. We'll be around. If news breaks,
Yes.
we'll jump out and chat about it.
Sure.
What else? Otherwise, be safe, be healthy.
Yes, I think that's good.
Do
And we're
something
excited
kind for someone. You'll feel
2024.
great if you do that. We probably, probably should have done another Giving Friday.
We can.
Yeah, send us ideas for the new year. Let's be more committed.
Yes.
To helping some people out. We are able to help for those that support us. So it's just you giving indirectly at the end of the day, kind of, technically, sort of, right?
Yes, that's true. And I hope there's more to give with what comes in the new year, hopefully. Also very cute.
And we want to see Winston's name tag.
I
Is it like a dog bone shaped
that would be a classic cute one.
kind of thing?
I hope so. Looking forward to it. See, there are things to look forward to.
All right.
Perfect.
All right, everybody. Thank you so
All
much
right.
for the support. Do you need me to push a button or you got it?
I got it. All right. Thank you so much. See you guys later. Have a happy holiday. Adios.
Before investing, carefully consider the investment objectives, risks, charges, and expenses found in the prospectus, available at advisorshares.com.